Dawn broke differently that morning. The city felt heavier, the air still, as if the nation itself was holding its breath. Then came the words that shattered silence. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has passed away following sudden cardiac arrest. In that single moment, time stopped. Streets froze, radios went quiet. From Kibra to Kisumu, Mombasa to Eldoret, a wave of disbelief swept across Kenya. Baba, they called him. To some, he was the people's president. To others, a freedom fighter who never stopped dreaming. To all, a man whose voice shaped the rhythm of Kenya's democracy. From the busy matatu stages to the quiet rural parts, a single phrase echoed through the air. Baba Oduogo Dala. Baba Oduogo Dala. Within hours, the nation's top leadership convened. A Council of State meeting was called, one whose mood mirrored the nation's heartbreak. Across Kenya, people stood silently as the speech played.
Fellow citizens, it is with deep sorrow that I inform the nation of the passing on of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, our former Prime Minister, Kenya's foremost statesman, and one of Africa's greatest sons.
Even political rivals bowed to the moment, because for once, the struggle that divided them was replaced by a grief that united them. As the sun disappeared, Nairobi didn't sleep. Outside Capitol Hill, people stood in the rain, singing softly, Baba Wetu, Wod Odinga, Wod Nyatiti. In their hearts, they weren't mourning a politician. They were mourning an era, a promise, a symbol of resilience that had outlived power itself. By the next sunrise, Kenya was on its feet again, not in protest, but in pilgrimage. They came with flags, tears, and memories to see one last time the man who taught them that courage can outlive defeat. Inside the capital, the nation prepared to receive his body, the beginning of what was to become 72 unforgettable hours, the farewell of a lifetime. As dawn broke on the second day, the nation began its pilgrimage. From every corner of the republic, they came on buses, on foot, on border borders to pay their last respect. It was no longer just mourning, it was a movement of memory. At the heart of the capital, in parliament buildings, silence fell. Here lay the man who had spent his life speaking truth to people, now resting beneath the same flag he once defended. To some, it felt like history pausing. To others, it was destiny fulfilled. Wod Nyatiti, Oduogo Dala. Grief has a way of healing what politics could not. For once, color and creed faded into silence. Kenyans stood side by side, not as voters, but as a family in mourning. In his passing, the nation rediscovered what he had always preached, that Kenya was strongest when united. His spirit had become a mirror. Every voice carried his echo, the dream of a country that refuses to give up. In those hours, Kenya didn't feel divided by distance or tribe. It felt like one long heartbeat shared by 50 million souls.
down the bay, the mountain top, where the sun shines on a mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached India, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my world is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Bondo town. The king is dead, but long live the crown. Joey! 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 Rest in peace, Dad.
As night fell, attention shifted westward. The lakeside awaited his final journey home to the land that raised him and the soil that will keep his story. The city dimmed its lights that night, not out of darkness but in respect. The road to home would begin, and with it, the closing chapter of an unforgettable 72 hours. On the third morning, the nation awoke to a journey that will travel beyond roads, beyond time. The sun rose over a sea of faces, and every face carried the same story. We came to walk him home. From the capital to the lakeside, thousands filled the highways, not in protest, but in pilgrimage. Some walked for miles, others stood in silence. No one told them to come. They just came because gratitude has no sermons. It was not a procession of sorrow. It was a march of memory. The people sang not to mourn but to remind the world that greatness can be born from struggle. Each drumbeat whispered his story. The rebel who became a reformer, the dreamer who refused to fade. When the convoy reached the lakeside, time slowed again. The air was heavy not with loss, but with reverence. Home was waiting. They had come to return one of their own to the earth that shaped him. The same soil that taught him endurance, that raised him to stand for truth. Under the open sky, faiths and tongue blended.
One thing that I know that Raila stood for, and he keep on repeating, is that we need peace in our nation, we need peace in our homes.
The Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Ward Mary, Ward Nyar Alego, Aguambo, Tinga, Jacom, Enigma, Ward Ping, Baba. I have come a very long way with Baba. I owe you, and I am truly and eternally grateful that our paths crossed and that we shared this journey together. As we bid you farewell, we do so with the deepest gratitude as a nation and as a people. Amolo may no longer walk with us, but his spirit lives within every Kenyan and every African.
Raila ametuacha kimwili, lakini ndani za roho yetu, ndani ya spirit ya Kenya, ataendelea kuishi miaka na miaka tukisonga mbele. Sasa ndugu yangu, umeenda mbele yangu. Sasa tayari najua mnajiongeleshana huko. Na sio ati niko na haraka ya kuja kuwafikia, lakini bado tunataka tutulie kidogo. Mwenyezi Mungu atusaidie. Lakini najua wakati wetu tukifika, utakuwa hapo kutuambia njia ya kutembea hizo mabarabara za huko. Kwa hivyo yangu, ndugu yangu, ni kuombee kwa Mwenyezi Mungu akurehemu, akulaze na amani na wenzako, ukijua ya kwamba twakumbuka wewe na yale ambao umebakisha tutaendelea nayo, na familia yako sasa imekuwa yetu, na tutaendelea kuwalinda na kuwachunga na kusimama pamoja nao kwa wakati wote.
Christian prayers, Muslim blessings, ancestral chants, for in this moment he belonged not to one tribe, but to the nation itself. They didn't say goodbye, they said, until we meet again. Because the truly great never die, they live on the courage of those who they inspired. In the days that followed, something began to grow from the tears. A new generation, young, fierce, unafraid, picking up the torch he left behind. His story became a compass reminding them that freedom is not a gift, it is a daily fight. The man was gone, but the idea had only just begun to live. 72 hours that moved a nation. 72 hours that turned grief into unity, silence into song. And in that song, his name will live forever. Legends are not buried, they are planted to bloom in the hearts of generations. Wow. I've been your one and only Director JAO. And like I always tell you, that whoever has a brain, sense is expected.
Round the Bay of Mexico, where the sun shines daily on the mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship. When I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. I won't be back for many a days.